Dudes Who Bet Sports.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Sports. Welcome back to another Thursday, Papa Dude. We got a big show. We're going to talk Preakness. We're going to talk playoffs. And then I've got an idea to pitch to not only you, but the whole crowd that's going to be here in the show. So,
all right, you've got me intrigued. So we're not going to talk very long on this other stuff.
Right? No, we're going to skip through this. We're going to skip through this quick.
All right, I like it.
No, listen, I'm going to tease it. I'm not going to say it until after we're done with what we got to do. I've been thinking about this for a little while, and I'm finally like, okay, I got an idea. So, but
ideas are good.
Listen, I've had one good idea my whole life. Thankfully, that was good. Other than that, I haven't really.
But anyway, I'm going to disagree with that.
Okay. All right.
If you want to say that for me, I might go along with that. For me. Yeah.
Well, see.
Yeah.
See, this is. I should just go ahead and say it now because this kind of conversation is part of my idea. But we'll get to it in a bit. All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Preakness. That's probably what people are actually tuning in for the show. So we might as well do that.
They are.
All right. Well, Field of 9 here, Pimlico, of course, race 13 on Saturday. It is the Preakness leg 2 of the I guess it's a Triple Crown. We do have journalism, and I think that's good. We got him.
Yeah.
There's some interesting horses in here as well. What do you want to do? What we did with the Derby? Go through them one by one, and you say toss or interested or whatever?
Yeah. There's not as many to toss, but there's a couple.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, number 1 is goal-oriented. Bob Baffert, trainee, Flavian Pratt aboard 2 for 2. Did win 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
In the third race on Kentucky Derby Saturday. All right. What do you think? Toss? Interested? What do you think?
Don't you have to be a little bit interested because it's him, I guess?
I think Baffert Pratt makes it interesting.
I do
sure.
Too. I do too. Isn't it fascinating? This is the horse he's got in the Preakness. I mean, it's,
yeah.
The horse hadn't done much. Just ran twice, but has won twice.
Mm-hmm.
Looks to me like he's going to go to the front, don't you think?
Yep.
Might get the lead. Who knows? He's going to force others to go to the front with him. Baffert being in it, you got to consider this horse. I don't think he can win, but I don't know if you can leave him off your exotics. I think he's kind of scary.
Yeah, he is a little bit. I really loved him on Derby Day, and I thought I'm glad he won, but I didn't think he was overly impressive that day for sure. I didn't watch that race and go, okay, take him to the Preakness, Bob, or even the Belmont for that matter, give him proper rest or whatever, however you want to call that.
Yeah.
But I'm having a hard time with him because I really liked him 2 weeks ago. And
look at what he did. Here's something. And he didn't, the only thing I think he did wrong in that race, and I'm not saying it was wrong, he didn't pull away.
Right. Yeah.
But he didn't lose either.
Right.
How many times do you see horses that lead all the way and they don't hold it off and they get beat at the end? He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's impressive.
Yeah, and he was going 2 turns for the first time. He was going over a sloppy racetrack for the first time. I mean, he was on the lead for the first time. That his maiden race, he came from way out of it.
Yeah, he did.
He kind of missed the break. That's why a little bit, or he didn't really miss it. He just wasn't really in a hurry to go anywhere.
Right.
I'm having trouble. I go back and forth with him.
I think he's dangerous. I don't think he's going to win.
Kind of where I landed. Maybe he gets a piece of it. I don't think he's a winner, though. No, I don't think he wins.
Not enough experience yet.
I agree. All right. Number 2 is journalism. Obviously, serious contender.
Well, yeah.
Really no excuse, I think, in this race.
I don't either. It kind of depends on how you feel about did that Kentucky Derby take it all out of him? Does he have it left? How do you feel about coming back from the Kentucky Derby and running in the Preakness compared to some of these other horses that are fresher and didn't run in it? And there's a couple of them that are very dangerous. So that's the feeling you've got. If he comes back and runs like he does in the Derby, I don't think any of these horses are going to beat him. Do you?
No, I don't. I think the Derby race is probably good enough to win this.
Yes.
I did a lot of research on the 2-week turnaround going into the Preakness, and it really has not bothered a whole lot of horses.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, they ran fine.
Yeah.
I do think, and it was Pedlo that brought it up a little bit last week. He's like, I don't know about that. That sloppy track does take it out of him.
Yeah.
Maybe that plays a factor, and maybe he is a little more tired because it was a sloppy track.
Do you think the owners and the trainer and everything of him kind of looked at this field and said, guys, we're stupid if we don't run this horse. This field is not that good. We can win this race.
I think they were kind of preparing this horse to run in this race no matter what, but based on the comments after the race. And yes, I think then that comes into play where it's like, guys, he just has to show up and run his race. He's going to win. Yeah. The Preakness, which is still a big deal. And I also think, I just think the horse is probably doing pretty well or they wouldn't do it. I don't think McCarthy or the ownership group, Eclipse, the Thoroughbred Partners, I don't think they're one to force it. I think as long as the horse, they felt like he was going to show up and run okay, they were going to bring him. So
what did he do? Because his future is bright, whether he runs in this race or not.
Yeah.
Down the line, he's still got big races to win. Mm-hmm. That, second in the Derby, and so you go back and then you win the Travers and you go maybe to the Classic and win it. That's a pretty good resume. So they're not going to risk this horse if he's not ready to run this. But I do think they look at this race and say, well, he can win this. And he's in good shape, came out of it in good shape. Let's go get it. And if he runs like he did in the Derby, he should win, in my opinion. I don't think this 2-week thing's going to bother him.
Yeah, I agree. And McCarthy he doesn't seem worried about that aspect of it at all.
Yeah.
So
he's a Curlin horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Curlin didn't have any trouble coming back and running in the Preakness.
Nope.
I think he won it, right?
He sure did. Yeah. One of the most memorable races ever.
So I think he's got that going for him. Mm-hmm. I think if you want to try to beat him, you can, but I think you're going to have to kind of be far-fetched to do it.
Yeah. I think there's one, we'll get to him in a second, that might be able to just beat him. But
it could always happen. So. Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right, let's keep going. The number 3 is American Promise. He's a toss for me, but
yeah. But here's the deal. Have you ever seen a 92-year-old guy? Is he 91 or 92?
I think he's 91.
91-year-old guy. He's the rebel. Dwayne Lucas is a rebel.
I know.
He's going to run this horse in all 3 races. Piss on you. He doesn't care. I've never seen a 91-year-old guy described as a rebel.
The rebel. Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
Well, and to be fair to American Promise, every Dwayne Lucas horse that I think is going to run well usually doesn't, and then every one that I toss, those are the ones that win. So you would not, if you like American Promise, you do not want me to come on here and say he has a big shot. That's for sure.
Okay. If he runs well, I will be the most surprised person in the room.
I mean, if he runs well, I wouldn't be surprised. But if he wins, I'll be surprised.
Oh, yeah. And I will be thrilled if he does. I will laugh my ass off if he wins.
Yep.
It would be great.
It would.
But I don't think he does. I mean, his Derby performance was god-awful. And really, other than the great race he ran at Colonial, he hasn't really done anything. So,
yeah, I don't worry about the Derby. I just look at the Risen Star, I look at the Southwest, and this is the same thing I said going into the Derby. I'm like, this horse he's not great.
No.
He did go and win the Virginia Derby, but look who was in that race. It was bad. So I don't know. I don't think so. All right, let's go to the number 4, Heart of Honor. This horse is coming in from overseas after almost winning the UAE Derby. The horse he lost to got last in the Kentucky Derby. That doesn't bode well, I don't think, for Heart of Honor.
No. 3 straight seconds. I mean, I guess stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
I'm tossing him.
I tossed him too.
Yeah.
I couldn't make a case for him. No.
Yeah.
The number 5 is Pay Billy. This horse, the local horse here, won the Tessio last time out. That is the local prep for the Preakness. He's, you know what? I don't know if he's a Preakness winner. This is a nice horse, though.
It really is. He's a nose away from winning 5 in a row.
Yeah.
He's coming in great form. They haven't been great races, and he's ran at Laurel. Yeah. So take that for what it's worth. But he's one that he won a long shot. That might be one to take a look at. He runs well up in this area. I don't know. I like him better than I do the 4 or the 3. I'll say that for sure.
I'm kind of the same way. I think if you want a long shot, this is one to look at. Him or the 9 that we'll get to in a second. I would prefer the 9 over the 5, honestly, but I have a lot of respect for Pay Billy, and I think he's decent. Like I said, does that mean he's the Preakness winner? I'm not sure. These horses, the local ones, usually don't run all that well in this race, but I think he's earned it. I definitely think he's earned a chance.
Oh yeah, he should be in it for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of rooting for him. If if the horses I like don't run well, he would be cool to see for sure.
Right, I agree.
Number 6 is River Thames. This is a horse that I think has a lot of talent. Can he get the distance? I'm not sure. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I think same thing. We've talked about this before. Is this, is he for the distance? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know why, but I don't like him. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I thought he should have won the Bluegrass. He didn't. I know he did. And, he lost by just a neck to Sovereignty.
Yep.
Am I crazy? I left him off. I think I'm probably stupid, but I kind of dropped one of those favorites off, and he's the one I did.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to win.
I've got him underneath. Yeah. I've got him underneath.
Well, the smart people do. Something about him I don't like. I don't know. I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
He just seems to run close, but he doesn't win enough for me.
Well, I thought he was pretty decent in the Fountain of Youth. Obviously, he almost got it done. I had him that day, and I wasn't disappointed with him. I didn't bet him in the Bluegrass, and I was just, I don't know. I hated that Bluegrass altogether. I didn't think it was a good race. Now, Burnham Square, I think, was going to run a decent 4th or 5th in the Derby before he had trouble. So you look at that and go, well, he only got beat 3/4 lengths to him. I mean, I think he's in the realm. I'm with you. I don't love him. I just don't. I don't think
I could be talked up. I could be talked into putting him in there instead of goal oriented. I went with him and over this one, but I don't think he's going to win.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like him to win.
Rob's asking, how much better is he compared to Gosker at 20-1? We'll get to that one in a second. I almost would rather play Gosker at 20-1 because of the price. If that's what he's actually going to be, I don't know how realistic that is. So, well, let's get to Sandman next, though. Number 7, Sandman. He was okay. I mean, he was wide. You knew he was going to have to be. He ran 7th. I mean, he was fine in the Kentucky Derby. Nothing to hang your hat about or hang your head about. Yeah. But what do you think here? I don't know.
Well, I worry about him not having enough juice more than I do journalism.
Do you?
Yeah, maybe because of his style. I don't know. But I think the race sets up for him if he's in good shape.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be behind 15 horses this time. He's not going to have to pass so many. He's not going to have the traffic problems necessarily anyway that he did. Would you be surprised if he wins? I wouldn't be shocked if he does. I've got him. I definitely included him. That's for sure. But I just don't think he's good enough to win if journalism fires.
Yeah.
If he wins, I don't think he can catch him. But I think he can be up there and get 2nd or 3rd.
So one thing, be careful of this, because Rob said Jose on Clever Again says it all. So here's what happened. Jose committed to Clever Again.
Yeah.
Before they committed Sandman. Sandman was not going to run here until late. So that's why you see it's not now. Maybe Jose likes Clever Again more than Sandman. I have no idea, but the jockey change is more circumstantial than him just choosing one over another in the spot.
I like the jockey change.
You like Velasquez?
I saw that, and I said, "Give me that baby anytime over there."
Okay, well,
and I'm not a jockey guy, but I thought, hell, that's an improvement.
I'll say this:
nothing against Ortiz, nothing at all. But Velasquez is pretty damn good.
I'll say this: on horses that are a little bit quirky, like Sandman, I don't think Velasquez aboard is a bad thing.
No.
So
I didn't know any of that because I don't follow it like you guys do. And I just thought, hey, Cassie got a better jockey. Let's go.
No. That's not what happened.
I just said that's my opinion, though.
Well, I mean, in that
I looked at that and said, yes, I like this move. And that's no knock on Ortiz. I like Velasquez a lot. So,
all right. All right, let's move on to Clever again and Jose Ortiz. Winner of 2 in a row for Steve Asmussen. They kind of worked backwards towards the Preakness once this horse got going a little bit late. They debated running this horse, the Arkansas Derby, and Asmussen opted for kind of the conservative route. Seemed to have paid off so far. This horse has looked really, really good in his last 2 races. I've got him as the prime contender to beat Journalism. What about you?
Oh, I like him a lot. And I'm an Asmussen guy. By the way, let me back up. I have nothing against Ortiz. Nothing.
I know.
Nothing. I just think Velasquez is really good. So I like that.
Yeah.
Obviously this horse got hurt last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it must have been fairly significant. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he obviously is okay.
Yep.
Because he's had no trouble winning the 2 races he's been in.
So just quickly, the story here, this is a very interesting horse. So he ran at Keeneland in those baby races in April.
Yes.
That usually Wesley Ward wins almost all of them.
Yes.
And he almost beat the Wesley Ward horse Dream Away, who was well meant for the debut there. They tried to get him back to the races at Saratoga. He had to scratch, it just didn't go well. So over 300 days off, comes back to Oaklawn and just dominates off the layoff and then won that stake. So the horse had some issues. They tried to get him back. He kept having issues, but now he seems to be over them.
Yep. And he's one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Out of American Pharaoh. Wouldn't be surprised. Now he's going to go to the lead. There's no question.
I think so. Yep.
So goal oriented is going to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so the deal is Journalism will lay off the pace probably.
Yep.
Will they run themselves out? That's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know that he's seasoned enough to win, but he's one we better look out down the line if he can stay healthy. He looks like an Asmussen horse to me.
Yeah. I think
got him in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I think he's going to be tough in this spot.
Yeah.
And I that's kind of I look at it and go, I think he's going to turn for home and have the lead, and can Journalism go get him? That's kind of how I see it going.
Do you think maybe the distance might be he hasn't run this far yet?
Well, yes, because he hasn't done it. You always worry about that. He's
bred for it, so.
But yes, he is bred for it as well. Yes.
Yeah.
The seasoning is kind of my
Yeah.
problem. Like, I think his last race is about as good as anything we've seen from this group, except Journalism. And I think the only difference is we've seen Journalism kind of repeat it, where that was a clever, again, that was the first time we'd really seen him like, whoa, that was really good, you know? And so
go ahead.
Well, and so it's just like, can he do it again? Can he do it again against tougher?
Yeah.
That's going to be the question mark. And that's kind of the risk you take, but you're getting 5-1. I don't know if that price will stick or not, but you're getting 5-1. Right. So
there's a reason he didn't run him in the Arkansas Derby.
No, he commented and he said, we opted to take the more conservative route and point him here.
All I'm saying is he didn't think, I'm not saying it was a knock on the horse. He just didn't feel like he was ready yet to run that Arkansas Derby.
Right.
Now he ran so well in that stakes that he's thinking we might as well throw him in there and see what he can do. And I think it's a great move by a great trainer. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. So
well, and you can do all kinds of different things with this horse depending on how he does here as well. A ton of different places this horse can end up going out of this race. So
you think if he wins, he'd go to Belmont?
I think so.
I do too.
I don't see any reason why not. You know, and if he doesn't run all that well, there's still races you could try and like.
Let me ask you this: if journalism wasn't in the race, would you pick him to win?
Oh yeah, yes.
I think I would too.
Yes, he would be my pick. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he makes this race interesting for me.
Yes,
because I want to see him run. I want to see how good he is.
I agree. Yeah. Him and journalism make it interesting for me. The rest of them, it's like it'd still be a horse race, and I like that, but it's not. You know.
Well, thank God journalism entered. Because we wouldn't have a whole lot to talk about.
It would feel a lot like a Kentucky Derby prep race.
Yeah, it would.
Know, instead of the Preakness if he wasn't here. Yeah.
Yeah, so at least we got a name in there that he ran okay in the Derby. There was nothing wrong with the way he ran. He just got beat.
Yeah, exactly.
So all right. He's significant to make this. He's a significant name to make this race worth something.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right. Number 9 is Gosker, the horse that Rob asked about. You know, last 2 races have been very good. Maiden special weight win at Gulfstream, then won the Lexington. 20-1 seems crazy on this horse. But what do you think? What do you think of this one?
Well, I think he's kind of like the one we just discussed, right? Lightly raced.
Yep.
He did have a vet scratch in when was that? January 11th. So he's had an issue or two, but obviously he's over that. And there's nothing not to like. I guess it's just the same thing. Is he seasoned enough to win it?
Yeah.
And I like the 8 better than I do the 9.
Same. Yep. Same here. But if you want a long shot, I do think the 9 makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Getting better. Irad does ride at River Thames instead of Gosker, but that's a Pletcher horse. So
yes, absolutely.
It's kind of like, you're going to have to do that in a way.
Yeah, you got to keep with Pletcher.
Yeah.
If he wants you to ride the horse and you're the main guy, you pretty much have to do it.
Yep. I agree.
So I don't read too much into that.
Well, I guess we're both on journalism to win, right?
Well, it's boring.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be 8-5. I think he'll be bet down some.
Yeah.
But it's boring to pick him, but I mean, the way I handicap a race, which may not be right, I just don't think anything's better than he is if he's healthy. Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't be in it if he wasn't. So, that's where I'm going.
Yep. I went journalism, Clever again. I'm going to play both those horses in the multi races as well, because I just see a situation where Clever again might get away from him a little bit.
You might.
And then here we go. What's going to happen here?
And then the fresh legs may come into play.
Yeah, if you got to make up a bunch of links or something happens like that. Yeah, and I do respect River Thames, Sandman, goal oriented. I just think Clever again might be just a little bit better than those horses.
Do you have River Thames third?
Yes. Yeah.
And you have Sandman fourth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've got it the other way. Well, I don't. I've got Sandman third.
Yeah.
No, I think I have him second.
I
know you don't like him.
I like him, but I don't know.
You just think he's a good horse.
Yeah. Yes.
I do too. Yeah. Every once in a while, he springs a good race. Yeah. But it's got to suit his style. He's got to get the right trip.
Right.
And when you're banking on that, that doesn't always happen. So that's a tough way to win a race when you got to come from where he does. And sometimes you get in trouble.
Yeah. So. Rob, the post time is 7:01 Eastern. 7:01 Eastern time.
7:01.
Yep. So 6:01 here for us. Yep.
All right.
All right. Look, you want to do the playoffs now?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's go NBA. I've got NBA up first. All right. So Minnesota is in.
Yep.
And the Pacers are in.
Yep.
Now, Thunder, can they go in tonight into the Western Conference Finals? They're up 3-2, 4.5-point favorites on the road against the Nuggets. Who you got in this one?
Well, first, before we get really going, have you ever seen so many stars get hurt in the playoffs like it's been this year?
No, I have not.
Steph getting hurt, that was it for Golden State.
Yeah. Yes.
Without him, and I thought they played their ass off the 2 games out in California.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota is really good, and they just didn't have enough scoring. They just couldn't do it, and you can't lose him. He's, I thought they played their butts off. I thought Steve Kerr does a great job of coaching. I thought they played as hard as they could. Minnesota's just better.
Yeah.
Cleveland injuries. Mitchell was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They got their ass kicked.
They did.
Indiana, I don't want to play them right now. And then you got the Celtics with what's his name? Tatum hurt.
Yeah.
And his injury is traumatic. He may miss all of next year. You rupture an Achilles, that's a bad deal.
Yep.
And I got to give them credit last night.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but they showed me something last night. And you know what? The Knicks aren't that good. I wouldn't be surprised if the Boston doesn't hang in there and maybe get that too. But now let's get to this one. Tuesday night, I have a hard time watching an NBA game from the start to the finish without going to sleep, taking a little nap, or turning the channel, flipping back and forth. I just have a hard time. Not this one.
Yeah.
I was into this. Of course, I'm a Thunder fan. Not a huge one. It's not going to kill me if they get beat. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But right. I do want them to win, and I really want them to get at least to the finals. And I thought it was all down the drain Tuesday night.
They looked like they're in big trouble.
I thought there's no way they're going to beat the Nuggets, not with Jokic playing like he was. And then Murray was hitting everything. And it's one of those games, you're just not going to beat them. But they somehow did. I sat and watched it when the game was over. I said to myself, what did I just see? They won this damn game. I can't believe they did.
Yeah.
And Jokic was unbelievable. And, everybody's going, oh, my God, what talent that shot he made. Guys, that is shithouse luck.
It's amazing.
There's no talent involved in that. Here's the talent. He might make 5 out of 100 when anyone in this chat would be 0 out of 100. That's your talent.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That was a lucky shot. There's nothing amazing about it. It was luck.
It was pretty amazing.
It was, but he's not going to do that very often. And I get so sick of people go, oh, God, he's so damn good. Did you see that shot? He's damn good, not because of that shot. That guy, I heard a couple of really good NBA experts talking about him and Luka. And, they really made a lot of sense. Do they have the skills that most great basketball players have? Mm-hmm. Are they fast?
No.
Are they quick?
No.
Are they agile? No, they don't have those skills. They got size.
Yeah.
And they're now I think Jokic is 10 times better than Luka. The more I watch. But they just don't quit.
Right. Well, they're great creators.
They are, and they're hard to guard.
I think that's the thing with Jokic it gets lost is how much he creates for the team too.
Yeah, and he's a tremendous offensive rebounder too.
Yeah,
but the thing, they both can hit the three.
Yeah.
And when they are, how do you guard them?
You don't.
Because they're quick enough, agile enough, whatever, to get around you when you go out and try to stop the three.
Well, to your point of I don't know how the Thunder won the game. I think it's very easy. The other players for the Nuggets did not make a shot hardly in the fourth quarter.
Murray quit making everything he was shooting.
In the fourth quarter. They just needed one guy to step up and do something, and they didn't do it.
Right, and he finally pulled off because he was hitting everything.
I know. Yeah.
I thought this guy is incredible tonight. We're not winning this game. It's not in the cards. Jokic is playing out of his mind, and Murray is knocking down everything. And you're right. He didn't hit anything in the fourth quarter.
In what you're talking about is why I think if you're the Thunder, you need to step on the throat tonight,
Oh,
because
you
if you
do.
get into a 7th game,
Oh, I don't want that.
no, because that's going to be tough.
The thing is, here's the other thing. The Nuggets have no depth.
No. And that plays to what I'm talking about. The fourth quarter, they
run out of gas.
Yeah, yeah.
2 days in a row, they've run out of gas, because I didn't think the Thunder were going to win Sunday either.
No, me neither.
At halftime, Denver played the worst half of basketball I've ever seen Sunday from a good team. And the Thunder played the second worst I've ever seen. And I thought, they're only ahead 6 points at the half.
Yep.
They're not going to win this game. And, of course, Denver came out, shot the ball really well, got the lead, and here come the Thunder in the fourth quarter. And, again, I think it's the Nuggets run out of gas.
In the Thunder, they've got a lot of depth.
They do.
Yeah.
Now, my Thunder expert that just lives and dies with them, he's upset because their depth is not shooting the ball very well.
Well,
and
what I would answer back with is it's high pressure. It's the playoffs.
It is.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
Like when you get into playoffs, your best players have to carry it through.
And Shea has been okay.
Yeah.
Now in the fourth quarter, Shea was Shea.
Yeah, yeah. He came
Game
through.
5. He was
really Dort. I feel like Dort got him back in the game.
Oh, he did.
And then Shea took over and won the game.
Then Shea did the thing he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
The other guy I thought played great the other night was Chet. Was Holmgren. I thought
he did. He did.
He was active. He made some dunks. He's faced with trying to guard Jokic.
Yeah, I can't do
which is difficult. Yeah. Now he can guard him on the perimeter because he's long.
Yeah.
But if Jokic gets him inside, they're screwed. And then Hardenstein does a good job helping. So anyway, tonight I'm with you. They got to close this out tonight.
Yeah.
If this comes back to OKC for Game 7, and you got to beat those, a guy like Jokic, is so dangerous. You want to get this thing tonight while the Nuggets are kind of tired.
Yeah.
They had that game. They had Game 4 and they had Game 5 both. They lost them both.
Yep.
Can they get back up to win tonight? It's so hard to win in Denver, though.
Yeah.
I took Denver in the points. I just don't know if the Thunder can do it.
I think if they're going to win the series, it's tonight. I really believe that.
Oh, I know. I don't want to see a Game 7.
I don't either. My thing is, can the Thunder win a Game 7? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
But I feel like they've got them reeling, and you need to step on the throat right
I think
here.
so too.
Yeah.
I will say this: if the Thunder win, I think they cover that spread.
I agree. I think it's a Thunder winning and cover the spread, or I think it's close and Denver ekes it out. I think it'll be a close game.
This is always a tough thing in sports. What you got is you got a veteran team.
Yep.
That won the championship 2 years ago.
Yep.
They know how to win against a young bunch that they made the playoffs last year, but they weren't what they are this year. Mm-hmm. And then they've got the added pressure of being the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. And when you've got that pressure on you, it's going to be a severe disappointment if they don't win. Mm-hmm. I think most of us, if they'll get to the finals, if they get through the West, you got to consider that a great year. But if they don't win the second round, it's going to be a severe disappointment. Yep. So they know that too. So it means so much to win tonight.
I felt like they got over the hump in Game 5.
I think they did too. I think they were on the ropes.
Yep.
Well, they've been on the ropes 2 games in a row.
Yep.
And they've outlasted them and made shots when they had to.
Yep.
And that's got to give them confidence going into tonight because they are better than Denver overall.
Yep, I agree. And I think they got over the hump, and I think they're going to win tonight. So I think they end it tonight.
And it's on at 7:30, thank God.
I know.
I can make it no problem tonight. But I didn't have any problem the other night either. So
All right, let's go to Friday here, and we've got it's been a very entertaining series.
Yes.
Celtics Knicks. You mentioned the injury. The Celtics do push it to a game 6 here in New York, and New York is the favorite for the first time in the series. So can they get it done? Isn't that crazy?
And that's after getting thumped last night.
Yeah.
Haven't really sat down and thought about it too much yet. Just looking right now after what I saw last night, I think Boston's going to win.
Do you really?
Wow. I do. I don't think the Knicks are that good. I just don't. And so Boston played like the whole thing with Boston is they got to shoot the ball well. If they don't, they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
They've still got good players.
Yeah.
And I think they have a better team. I know they're missing Tatum, and I know it's stupid, but I tell you what, the Knicks better win this game. I don't think they're winning a game 7 in Boston.
Oh, man, I think the Knicks are going to do it. I think they're going to win.
I hope they do, but I don't.
I think they're going to do it. I really do.
Who you got then, Indiana or the Knicks?
I guess Indiana.
I don't see how you can pick against them right now.
I don't either. I think it's going to be Indiana and Oklahoma City, and I think it'll be a great series.
God,
that maybe doesn't get a lot of attention because
the network's not
located.
They're not. You know what would be worse? Minnesota and Indiana.
Yeah.
The NBA would have a fit. And everybody thinks the NBA is rigged anyway, so I'm not looking for Minnesota and Indiana to get in there. So no. I don't buy that stuff. I guess because of the lottery the other night, that was hilarious, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Mavs get the lottery. Yeah,
everybody's saying that's rigged.
Yeah, well, everybody said the trade was rigged to begin with to get Luke at LA. So and then the trade-off was to give the Mavs the #1 pick.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's funny.
I think the Pacers and Oklahoma City is who I'd go with at this moment. Little battle of the Midwest.
It all changed about 10 o'clock tonight, though.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that like you say, the NBA had that drew up Indianapolis and Oklahoma City in the finals.
Well, at least the Thunder have some pizzazz about them. That would help a little bit. Well, but
I'll be quite honest with you. As somebody that doesn't follow the NBA a lick, I know nobody on the Pacers. Like literally not one player.
Halliburton. That's all I know.
I mean, and you know, so it's like that. Like if you would have told me, let's say 6 weeks ago, that the Pacers were in the playoffs or in a playoff spot, I would have said, okay. Did you know what I mean? Like I just don't, I don't follow
me too. Did you realize the Pacers made the finals last year?
No.
The Eastern Finals.
I had no idea.
Yeah, look at Rob. He says he lives there and he knew 0. That's terrible. Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, I get it though. I mean, I would be the same way.
Well, if I lived in Indiana, and he's a big Purdue fan, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think I would know at least 2.
That's fair enough. Come on, Rob. You gotta step it up. All right, let's get.
This is too funny.
Let's get to the pucks here. It's been these series are lopsided, but they've been really good. Edmonton eliminates Vegas last night, and Edmonton was just clearly the best team. The games were close, but Edmonton was the better team.
Let me ask you this: how bad must Vegas feel to shut out Edmonton for 3 periods and lose the game?
Yeah. So Vegas is my clear #2 team. And they didn't score the last 6+ periods of the series.
No, they didn't play well in the first round either.
No, honestly, Minnesota was a better team in the first round. And in the second round, even when they were ahead 2-0 in game 1, you still felt like Edmonton was the better team. They're just better.
They are good.
Last night, I think Vegas could have played 12 periods and not scored. I mean, they really weren't close to scoring that whole game.
Really, I watched the first 2 periods. I didn't watch.
No. I mean, the third period they had a couple of chances. Overtime, they never really had a chance, and like Aiden Hill stopped a Draisaitl breakaway. He stopped McDavid 2-on-1. He stopped another breakaway. Like Aiden Hill played great. And
you got to win. Your goalie shuts them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you have to win. That's terrible.
Yep. Yeah. And look, like you said, though, they really weren't very good against Minnesota, and they weren't very good in this series. And it's not shocking to me that Edmonton beat them because, look, Edmonton, they're very good, and they look like Edmonton of last year in the playoffs, and obviously they're going to be tough to beat.
They are.
Just the overall playoff appearance, not even talking about this series, but overall for Vegas, really shocks me. I watch 90% of their games, I would say.
You love them.
They just didn't. They never looked right in the playoffs, and they played great all the way to the very last game of the regular season.
And they had all their guys.
Stone got hurt this series, and that made a difference. But yeah, for the most part, they were healthy, and they weren't good enough. So
no, they weren't.
I don't know what they'll do, but that was very disappointing. Yeah,
I would be disappointed too.
Yeah.
You got to win that game last night. You shut Edmonton out for 3 periods. You have to win that game.
Yep. But again, you look back at like game 5 of the series against Minnesota. If not for just a stupid play by Minnesota to be offsides, they win game 5 in Vegas and they might win the series, right?
Where did I see that was? How many games have they lost in Vegas?
They lost all 3 of these, in the Oilers series.
Yep.
And so they went to like 2-4 in Vegas.
Yeah.
And that's a place. Well, that's a place in the regular season. Just bet Vegas when they're at home, and you'll be good.
They should have went 1-5, right?
Yes.
So you not play well at home, and you don't play well at home in the playoffs, you're going to get beat. So
and like you said, that is such in the regular season. You don't go in there and win.
No,
So anyway,
which is strange.
But they'll be back. But
they'll be good again.
It's kind of unexplainable how bad they were in the postseason.
It's playoff hockey, and some years you don't play well.
Yep.
It's a mystery.
They just never got in sync with their forwards in the playoffs, and it's crazy. Yeah. But anyway, even if Vegas was firing on all cylinders, I don't know if they would have beat Edmonton. I certainly would still be playing, but
they would have won. They'd have won last night.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Carolina and Washington here. Right. This has been all Carolina. They've suffocated Washington basically.
They have. Best defensive team in hockey.
Yep.
But they can't score either.
Nope.
So your best bet in this series is taking the under.
Yep.
And it's a 5.5 again tonight. I don't see any different style of game. I don't think. Capitals cannot score.
Nope.
And that part of it's because they don't really have scores, and the other is
they can't get shots.
You get shots against that defense, and so I like the Hurricanes tonight.
I think Washington's going to fight back and get this one tonight.
Well, at plus 145, that's a good one.
Yep, I think it goes under, but I do think Washington fights back and extends the season tonight. But I give them no chance to win the series. But I do think they might get this one tonight.
It's a boring series, I think.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I can't watch this series.
No, I haven't watched hardly any of it.
I have watched
the same shit.
I've watched almost every second of the other 3, and I have not watched. Mm-hmm. I can't watch more than about 10 minutes of this.
No, because
it's so boring.
It's pretty boring.
Washington looks slow. Like they look like.
Well, have you noticed Ovechkin doesn't hardly play?
Yeah.
That's really weird.
It is. Yeah.
Like the one game they won, they set him out. He didn't play at all the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game because he's too slow.
Yep.
So about the end for him, I think.
Oh, for sure. Well, hell, it should be. He's old.
No, he's played a lot of hockey.
He has. Yeah.
All
right, let's go Dallas and the Jets here next. And I'm telling you, Dallas is if it's Dallas and Edmonton, which I certainly think it's going to be, that will be a
great series.
Unbelievable.
It will.
But, look, I don't think Winnipeg's that good. And I know that
I don't either.
Come on.
I don't think so either. I think Dallas ends it tonight.
I do too. Yeah.
And Winnipeg may put up a really good effort tonight. It's possible they could win tonight. They ain't going to win in Dallas, though.
People people have been asking, oh gosh, it's such a heartbreaking loss for the Blues, and I would, yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
However, I knew Winnipeg wasn't that good, and I knew we were not going to win another round. So it helped, at least,
We could have played like the Jets are playing, though.
Oh, absolutely. But what I'm saying is the Blues got a great draw. This team is not that good.
No. Well, yes, isn't it interesting that the two teams, Winnipeg and Washington, that had the best records overall in each division or each conference, neither one of us liked them.
Nope.
In the playoffs.
Nope. Well, I remember when it was coming down to if we were going to play Vegas or Winnipeg, which looking back, either one would have been fine. But, looking at it now, I was like, oh, God, please let it be Winnipeg. We can beat them,
Well, you didn't want to play Dallas or not that you were going to, but you didn't want to play Dallas or Colorado.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
No.
Or Winnipeg. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been a bit afraid to play the Capitals either.
Yep. And Pedlo has been playing the live Stars team totals. Yeah. I mean, they're going to get goals. It's two things. Hellebuck has been better in this series. He still hasn't been great, but he's been better. But the Stars are so much better than the Blues. Like
Winnipeg can't score, so
no, because the Stars have the puck the whole game.
That's right. They got the puck the whole game.
The Stars forwards are elite.
Yeah,
that's going to be like eventually. Like I said, I think it's going to be Stars in Edmonton, and I think Edmonton beat them last year. I think Dallas has got a better chance because those forwards are so good. Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
It'll be classic.
And then we got to talk about this. The final series. All right. So Florida now up 3-2. They've won 3 in a row. Yeah. So here's what happened in this. Toronto dominated the first 2 games of the series. They outplayed the Panthers in the third game, but the Panthers won. They battled back. Give them credit. They came back. They get an overtime win. Hell of a game. And then after that, it's like you crack the door open for the champs, and they have absolutely dominated Game 4. And then Game 5 was the most embarrassing game ever for Toronto.
If I'd have been the coach, I don't care if they are pros, I would have tore that locker room up after that game last night. I'd have been throwing shit everywhere, calling them every name in the book.
You got to think that happened, don't you?
You got to think that.
With Craig Berube, I mean,
if you're not going to try any harder than that, at home in a Game 5 that you have to win, and you come out there and you choke it up, it's the players.
I mean, it looked to me like a bunch of players that were scared.
That's the way they played once they got behind, for sure.
Versus a bunch of players that are just ass kickers. Like we were talking about it because we've been watching the series, and Heather was asking, what do you think is going to happen? I said the biggest problem is Florida got the door let open for them. Yep. They're not going to give a shit that they're on the road. Like they go win these games all the time.
Don't bother them.
No, it's like they got a bunch of bastards, and you're going to have to go. You're going to have to take it from them, right?
Ain't going to bother them.
No, and you got a coach that doesn't give a shit about being on the road.
They're champions. They're defending champions.
Exactly. It's like you have to go get them.
It's the worst draw for the Leafs.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it would matter.
I also thought it was telling. I thought the coverage last night in between intermissions was the best it's been all playoffs. Messier's
I usually
fantastic.
don't listen to it, but I did.
Well, Messier's same.
Yeah.
But they were so good. Messier's great. Subban's great. And Chris Pronger, love him or hate him, he was freaking fantastic.
No, he's good
on that last night.
Yeah.
And I thought he made a good point. He said before the third period of this game, he said, look, I've been in a lot of these situations where we had 2 periods where we didn't play like we wanted to, and we know we're not going to win the game. He goes, but I'm not gonna like beat around the bush. They have got to come out in the third period and set a tone. He goes, that matters. Trust me. They need to come out, either win the period,
game of it.
Well, yeah, either win the period or beat somebody up, or you know,
come out and kill somebody. Yeah,
yeah. And how many times have we seen that? From every team in the league, if they're getting blown out, they at least hit people, fight
the shit out of people.
Yeah. None of that happened.
No.
They just got beat even worse.
Yeah,
they showed nothing.
I thought Subban was great. I believe it was after the first period. He was bashing them.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I couldn't help thinking about Progress saying that, yeah, Chris, you've been in a lot of them. You played
Yeah.
for the Blues for a lot of time.
Right. Yeah. And but that's a guy, like I said, and listen, every hockey player, sometimes those games it happens, right?
They get away from you sometimes. Yeah.
Exactly. It happens every team, but you don't lay down and die like that.
No. What were they down? 3-0 going into the third period?
They're down 4-0.
Oh, it's 4. Okay. I quit it after it was 3.
Yeah.
I turned back. That's right. It was 4. That's right.
Yeah.
Because I did want to hear what they said because they were bashing them in the first period.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got just their ass beat in the first period.
That was awful. It was embarrassing.
And what I was saying was like, okay, look, it's 1-0. It should be about 4-0. If they're any good, if they've got any life, they will come out and play a really good second period, get back in this game.
Yeah.
And the opposite happened.
No. It was worse.
It was, yeah. It was. Each period was worse than the last.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do they have any chance? I mean, do you give them any chance tomorrow night?
No.
I don't either.
If Florida scores first, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they could come out and get a couple of lucky goals early, maybe.
I think it's over.
I think so.
Yep.
And, here's the thing. Had they played decent last night, let's say they went out and they really played well and they got beat.
Yeah.
And then they played good in game 6. Yeah, they're going to get bashed for choking.
Yeah.
But really, this is a better team.
Yeah.
Florida's better than they are.
Yeah.
Florida I think they're going to get to the finals if they close this out.
Yes.
I don't think Carolina can beat them because I don't think Carolina can score enough to beat them.
I think Florida's going to be in the finals, and I think it's going to be Dallas or Edmonton, and I think it's 50-50 because those teams are really good too.
Oh, listen, it's going to be great.
But the thing about Florida, you're right. If you lose a 3-2 game last night to them, you go, hey, they're the champs.
They're good.
They're playing great. They've got a world-class goalie, and we gave it a great effort, and we lost,
You don't have a world-class goalie.
No, but he,
he's okay. He's playing his ass off.
He held him in the game.
He did.
Yeah, listen, Florida, and I texted you this last night, they remind me a lot of those Red Wing teams in the 90s. And what I mean by that is it's unbelievable how they can just roll those lines, those 4 lines, and they all look the same, and they're all dangerous. They all can score.
There is no difference in any of them.
No, in this series, like Kachuk has done, you don't even know he's out there, and it doesn't matter because they're so deep.
Yeah, they're good.
Their forwards, some of them can disappear for a few games. It doesn't matter because they have depth scoring all through the lineup.
Yeah,
and that's why they're going to be really tough to beat. And when you hear like hockey people go, they can roll 4 lines. That the Florida Panthers, that's the example of it.
Yeah,
that's the example of it.
Yep. I hear you.
All right. Anything else?
No, it's idea time.
Okay. Yeah. So I've got
2 minutes over.
What's that?
We were going to do this in 30 minutes, but you got carried away. Go ahead.
So I've got an idea for the show. Okay.
All
I've
right.
been thinking about this.
This is good.
I think we may need to create a new show. Okay. Start over. This show's over and done with.
I'm done.
And create a new one.
Okay.
And it's like it's a variety. It's more of
variety show.
A variety show. We're not in okay, hockey playoffs. Yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. Preakness Stakes. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We're going into the boring time anyway.
Well, but I think overall the show would be better if one show we just talked about something just random. You know what I mean? Like we're not in a box of we have to talk about this. We have to talk about that. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. Maybe we divide it up into segments.
Right. But the segments don't have to be, here's the Major League Baseball slate today.
So we look at the happenings in the sports world through the week.
Or
anything else.
The outside world. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of topics we could get into there, but they're off limits. So, but there's also other stuff.
Yeah. I'm not saying go down the political road, but like when the drones were a big deal, spend more time on that,
Okay. We
that
do
kind of
live in
stuff.
Joplin. Sometimes it's not a lot going on here.
Well, but for example, you've had, we can't really talk about it on the show, I guess. But you've had some weird things happen to you the last, let's say, 6 months. How funny would that be if we talked about that stuff? You know what I mean?
That would be nice if we could.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
we could do 3 shows on my life the last year.
There will be a day when we can, and I think that would be entertaining.
Oh, that would be extremely entertaining.
Yeah. Here's what's happened to me. Has it happened to you type of thing? And then we do talk about it. Because the good thing about this show is it is kind of a community, right? Of like,
we have a community, yes.
Like when we talk about like when we were talking about songs that are overrated.
Right.
Like, why can't that be a bigger part of the show?
That should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, so okay, so
there's a guy on YouTube.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Topic 1: golf carts belong on the.
See, so like this is something that Mark is probably happening in his life that he's pissed about. That could be a topic.
He doesn't like golf carts on the golf course?
No, he's saying golf. See, and this is why it'd be a good show. So golf courts belong on the golf course, not soccer moms going to the grocery stores. What he's saying.
Nobody riding carts in the grocery store. Is that what he's saying?
He's saying if you're in a golf cart on a golf course, that's fine. Anywhere else, it's not acceptable.
I agree.
Like we have somebody that just drives around in a golf cart around our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mark's saying that's unacceptable.
I would agree.
See, that's what we're saying. That and
Mark, it doesn't really bother me.
It doesn't me either, but still, it's something.
Well, it bothers him, so I guess we could talk about it. But
that's more what, yeah, exactly.
I think you need counseling, but that's okay.
So he's saying golf carts are all around his neighborhood.
Maybe.
So, hold on though, but what if you were in a neighborhood
and they're in my way?
Yeah, and you can't you're trying to drive your car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would bother me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe Pedlo.
I get this.
Does Pedlo ride around in a golf cart in his neighborhood? Now we get into this because he's like, seems like it's a weird thing to be bothered by.
I can't see him doing it.
I can't either. No, I can't either. But
or me.
No.
Maybe because of the crap I'm going through, there's so much that I have to deal with that's bothering me that a golf cart doesn't bother me at this time.
Yes.
Maybe later down the line it would.
Yes. But yeah, well, see now William pay $8,000 for a golf cart and you just driving around I don't know. It's great. It's weird.
I have to agree with you on that one, but
yeah, it is weird. It's weird.
So next week we got to come up with some topics.
Well, I'm not saying we change it. I'm just this is
you just said we're going to change it. And you're the boss.
For example, yesterday somebody got arrested right outside of my house.
Okay.
He literally he was sitting in my front yard getting arrested. That's more interesting to me than the NBA playoffs.
The guy lives to the right of you?
Well, no, it wasn't anybody that actually lived here.
Oh, they followed him up into the neighborhood?
Yeah, so what happened? See, here we go. See how curious you are about this? So what happened was we have a guy that owns like a landscaping business that lives next to us.
Yes.
And he has, a couple of workers and they'll meet here and then they'll go off.
Okay,
work,
so
right?
it's one of the workers.
Yeah. So, and I know there's 2 kids, right? And I know their cars and everything. So I saw the car pull up. It's right outside my office window, and I didn't think anything of it. I see him pull up every day, right? And then all of a sudden, I look up, and there's 5 police cars surrounding this car that this kid is in.
And you're thinking, what has this guy done?
Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Did they handcuff him?
Yes, they did. Yes.
Not good.
The rumor is it was like a hit and run situation.
Oh.
Like he hit something and he didn't stop and he came up in here and then they're saying he was driving all erratic, so maybe he was drunk or whatever. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Another topic in your neighborhood that just kind of similar to this. So better not talk about it.
What, in my neighborhood?
Yeah, they don't like these people because.
Oh, well, yeah, no, we won't bring that up. I'm sure that's not. I'm sure my other neighbors are throwing a fit about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they happen to have a car that makes a little noise.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, the car, that's not this kid.
No.
It was a different kid, not the kid that drives a nice car.
Yeah, they have the audacity to have a car that's a little louder than others.
Yeah. So anyway, that kid's fine though. He's doing good.
Well,
I
used to live
out there now, so we're.
I used to live in a neighborhood where we had the street commissioners that thought they ran the neighborhood.
Right. Well, we have those too.
Yeah, and they would come up to my door and they'd want me to sign this petition that this guy can't build this building on his property, and I would look at him and say, "What the hell is the matter with you? He bought his property just like you did, you idiot."
Yeah.
How is he any different? Well, I don't know. He may build a building that's not suited for this neighborhood. I said, well, who gives a shit? It's his property.
Right.
I don't understand people like that. I just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for
I don't
sure.
like his fence. His fence it doesn't meet specifications. It's a fence.
Yeah. Well, the new thing, and I'm not on it because I'm not on Facebook, but the new thing is like neighborhood Facebook groups.
Oh yeah.
Where these people have nothing to do, they join this Facebook group, and it's restricted to people that live in the neighborhood, and they all just get on there and anonymously bitch about stuff. That's a thing that's going around everywhere now. Yeah.
I like the neighborhood watch groups too. We better watch out. There's a guy in a red truck that looks suspicious coming down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. Really? Okay. Well, let's see what makes him suspicious. But I ain't getting out of my chair to go see.
No.
We need to go back to where you come to the door and you don't know who's at the door.
Yeah.
You don't have these ring things.
Cameras. No, I disagree with that.
Well, some neighborhoods you need them, I guess. But
no, I think you need them when you see a neighbor you don't want to talk to coming to the door.
Oh, so you just don't go. You scream.
You just don't go to the door. Exactly. I wasn't home. Sorry.
How many people probably are too young on this thing. That some of our chatters here, they don't remember the days when the phone rang and you didn't know who the hell it was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yep.
I don't know who it is, but it could be important because all you had was a landline. It didn't tell you who was calling you.
Yep.
I mean, it could be one of those calls where you want $1 million. That's fake.
Yep, I know, but you had to answer it because you never knew.
Yeah. All right, I'm in.
All right, well, I haven't decided.
We're getting to the summertime where we need to do stuff. We do.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably push this through the Triple Crown and then
a month. Yeah,
do something. Yep.
Till the playoffs get down to just one game.
Yeah.
A week or every other. I love the way the NBA is doing this year. It seems to me like they're playing every other night like hockey does.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
It keeps it fresh.
There's been a couple series that had that spread out, but mostly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Right.
Well, I was gonna interview you, but
okay.
I don't have time. You got another show.
Well, ask one. How many questions did you have? 6,
but
oh my God.
Well, no, it was going to be like an interview.
Well, I'm trying to think.
Well, because I think you would elaborate on it. I think it was going to be very interesting. So we might ought to can it.
Ask one question. How about that?
Well, I was going to interview you on how the website evolved. How I don't know whether that's ever been discussed on here. Maybe it has. I know.
Okay, if it's that kind of thing, let's save it. I'm
just going to ask one question.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's, what is it? 12:03.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes.
Where'd the name come from?
Oh, yeah. So that was Jared and I had an idea for a website. He was working in Springfield at the time, and I was working in Aurora. And we met at this place called Ebbets Field in Springfield on his lunch break. And we probably wrote down, 50 names on a napkin just kind of thinking, trying to think, we got to think of something, got to think something unique, got to think something that if somebody sees it, they'll remember it. And we had some, stupid ones for sure. And we just kept coming back to thoroughbred racing dudes is what it was.
That's what it was to begin with.
Yeah. And so then, so we just kept going, we kept going back to that. I was like, I think if somebody sees it, they'll remember it. And then we got to thinking, we got a guy named Parker that we went to school with that's great at like designing stuff. And we were like designing logos. And I was like, I think we could make a really crazy logo of like us riding a horse, and it'll be like a wild looking thing. And it would be branded really good with racing dudes. And it just kind of stuck. And then it was still going to be thoroughbred racing dudes. And the first logo, it says thoroughbred racing dudes. But then when we go to like register the website, it's like racingdudes.com makes a lot more sense. Like it's easier to type in, and yes, so on and so forth. So, and the big key to it, I think we got it down to like 3 names, and racingdudes.com was the only thing out of the 3 names we had that was available as a website.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, if we would have searched, okay, is racingdudes.com available? And the answer was no, we probably would have went on to something else. But
really,
that was kind of the final piece of like, oh, it's available. Okay, let's go for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, because if you had to type in thoroughbred as well,
right. Mm-hmm.
Most people can't spell thoroughbred.
So what I will tell, like, I don't know how to say this. I think sometimes people might underestimate all the thought, like, because we come across as very relaxed and it's fun, and
right,
we're kind of just chill, you know what I mean? And like that's what we want, and that's what we want it to be. But
that's your whole
that's the whole thing, right? But
no,
I would tell people
too serious.
I would tell people that don't underestimate all the thought that went into it, and still goes into it every day. But sure, like every move we made, we tried to plan it to be much bigger than what it was when we started. It's like, okay, yeah, it's nothing now. Like this was literally from scratch. Like this isn't, we started, right?
People don't understand that. But
no, but we everything we did was like, okay, when it's big, not if. When it's big, we have to have all this in place so it's ready to handle it, right?
Well, see, that was that. I don't think people understand. You guys both are college graduates, and you both were in marketing.
Yeah.
So your education helped you to be able to do this.
Whether it worked out or it never got big or whatever, the one thing that we always were like, make it look bigger than what it is right off the bat, right?
Yeah, that's your
and also
that's your education playing in too, though.
Yeah, and I guess a little bit, but also
you needed to do that.
Also, just like, for example, COVID, like that was huge
one of my questions.
People that we never would have gotten.
That's one of my questions. Don't get.
But if we weren't ready for it, we couldn't have capitalized on it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, people don't. They don't realize from the ground up where you first started, this was nothing.
No.
It was nothing.
I remember we interviewed Kelby Von Hiemel, and that's a whole nother story about them and what they did for us.
That's part of my questions.
Help. But yeah, okay, I won't elaborate on it. But when we interviewed Kelby, he was an apprentice farrier, right?
That's right. He was an apprentice.
He was an apprentice, and he was working under a guy that had been there 100 years, blah, 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 whatever. Right. Now Kelby
he was learning the game that he was involved in as well.
Absolutely. And Kelby now is a very accomplished and shoes for many people. But we did an interview with him. We went and filmed him doing like changing shoes, all this stuff. And it got 99 page views. And I remember texting him, or I probably didn't even have his number. It was probably like a Twitter message, actually. I said, man, this is the biggest thing we've ever done. It got 99 page views. And we were all like, wow.
I remember those days.
That's amazing. And I remember another story up with Kelby. I don't know how much longer it was after we met him. We were up at Jethro's at Prairie Meadows, and it was the end of the month, and I think we'd gotten 4,000 page views in a month, and we were like, "Wow, that is." I never thought we could do that type of thing, you know. Mm-hmm. We were celebrating it, and now we might have that today by noon, you know, and so it's very different now. Exactly. But yeah, back then, shit, it was just
there's so many people, they don't like when they ask me, or they'll go, "So how do you keep from getting bored?" And I said, "Well, I do get bored sometimes, but I said I do this other thing, and I try to explain it to people, and I try to explain how it has evolved." They don't get it. Mm-hmm. They don't understand that you don't just do this.
Yeah, most new people that kind of want to work with, I'm not talking about people like that want to work for the site, but like most people that are like, they want to work with us in some capacity, they usually just say, "Oh, it's part-time gig or this or that or whatever." And it's like, yeah, no, that's not.
It's not for you guys, for sure.
It's not for any of us, you know.
No, I spend a lot of time. I tell people I spend, it's just a couple hours. No,
well,
it's more than that,
and it's every day, and
it is every day.
Like, I don't want to. I mean, Curtis, for example, Magic, until he got a job as an on-air talent. Mm-hmm. I mean, we paid our people more than industry average.
Oh yes, I can vouch for that.
And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to tell people, like, this is not a, like, we have fun. It's a great time. And it's been the best thing ever, but this is a business, a very serious business. On the back
end. And you got to stay on top of it.
I mean, before Samich got a job in Veasan, he did Racing Dudes. Right. And again, you get an on-air job for a television company. Yeah. You probably need to take that job. Right. But
I tell people, I said, we got two guys that used to work for the site that are on national TV.
Yeah.
Kind of like stuff. They've graduated from this site.
Yeah.
To something much bigger.
And I think that's, so when we started this, we definitely had like the dream of like, hey, we can do this full time. And I think, that accomplishment, it was, I mean, obviously awesome, but I don't think either one of us saw a vision of like, you turn the TV on and an employee that you used to have, who you actually taught like the whole horse racing game. You taught this person, like not Samich, but Magic. He didn't know anything. He just liked it. Right. Yeah. You taught him. And then you look up on television, he's on television.
And you say to yourself, man, he started with us.
Yeah. And it's like that kind of like impact. I don't think we could have.
It's like being a head coach and then one of your assistants goes out and gets another gig.
Yes.
Which might be better than the gig you got, but you're actually, you make more money than he did here. So what I'm saying is it's a good feeling to have that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Rob, Aaron's big idea. He wants to know the big idea, and then we'll get back to this.
Well, it's real quick before we do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I often kind of glaze over Samich because, again, Magic was like raising a little baby, like he didn't know. I'm not trying. He'll tell you this. He knew nothing.
He didn't know anything about horse racing.
Yeah, about horse racing. Oh, Magic knew a lot about stuff we needed him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, editing,
he taught himself horse racing.
He himself and us helping him.
Yeah,
that cultivated. Yeah,
and that shows you the intelligence he has too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
He caught on extremely fast. And by the time he started commenting on horse racing, you would have never known he didn't know anything about horse racing.
He came to us needing a lot, where Samich came to us. He's like, he was ready for national television the second we met.
Samich he's a professional gambler.
Well, and he's a professional on-air talent.
Yeah. he is. Yeah.
He just needed a platform to be seen, right?
Yeah.
Which is, again, though, I'm proud of him too.
Well, sure.
But I always kind of graze over him, and I hate that because I'm really proud of what Samich has done.
Well,
and knowing that we were a part of it. Yeah.
You better believe it. And he was great with us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He still is. He still is on the site. So,
yeah. So,
yeah.
But that's the kind of people that, you know, we've got to know.
Yeah.
And they're all quality people. But we're also lucky that we find people, or you found people like that. So.
And in those two cases, they found us. Like we didn't find them.
Exactly.
And so that's where the luck comes in. You got to be lucky.
You don't realize Magic's in LA.
Yep.
Samich was what, North Carolina when you guys?
He was North Carolina, then he was Florida, and now he's back in Santa Barbara.
And you guys had never met either one of them.
No, I did meet Magic before he worked for us. Actually, I met him one time.
You met him at the track.
I met him in at a bar in Pasadena. Yeah.
Just happenstance, or was it planned?
No, he reached out to us. He said, "Hey, I'm not going to be at the Breeders' Cup, but I live out here. I'd like to meet you guys." And so, and Magic's one of those guys. Within about a minute of meeting him, you knew you'd be a lifelong friend with him.
Yeah, he's that way.
He's just one of those guys.
Yeah,
and really Samich as well. Like you know.
You see, I don't know him like that. So
we knew.
I've never seen the downside of him.
What's that?
I've never seen the downside of him. He's always up. He's always serious.
I don't know that I've ever seen the downside of him either.
Okay. The thing, you hit on something that, and then, you know, we'll continue this interview.
Yeah.
Because I know you got to get ready for another show. But I always tell people this too. They go, what sets, because I do get a lot of people that ask me, and how'd this work? You know, I said, well, it's really a phenomenon. But I said, I think what sits, and I truly believe this. I think, because I listen, and not just horse racing, but I listen to sports like ESPN and all these so-called experts. And I really mean this. I think what sets us different apart from others is we don't come on here like we know everything.
Right. Yeah.
We're not. Yeah. We're honest.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be that way, because if you come up like, you know, you're sure this horse, you know, you do this and you talk language people don't understand, and then your horse gets beat, you lose all credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, we look like we're having fun doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, and when our horse doesn't win, we get on there and we laugh about it and go, well, that was a nice pick. Really did well on that one.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was the whole idea behind it, of like, I mean, you do. It's a blend, because you have to come on here and have an opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also, yeah.
But don't come across as an asshole that knows everything.
Well, you know, we tried to. We talked to some of our buddies, good buddies now, but just kind of people we knew when we started with the Von Hemels, and they were just like, you know, racing is fun. Like racing in its core is like 5 buddies sitting around giving each other shit, trying to get this right. So it's like, just try to be like that. I was like, well, that's what we do. So, yeah.
The other thing is, you know, so it's like last night, I picked Toronto to win.
Yeah, right.
And I put on there, I said, I really think Toronto's going to win this game tonight.
Yeah.
Well, if I had a show the next day, you know, on that, I would have said, Dr. Tang, I haven't seen you in so long.
Who is that guy?
I asked about you. Of course, I got your number. I'll text you. But anyway, I would have loved to. I would have come on this morning and said, well, that was a really smart bet, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean,
you just have to swallow it sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
I've said this before, I guess, you know, you're at the track and you're with 5 buddies and your horse doesn't win. And then somebody's sitting over there and they picked one that was 30-1 and they win.
Right.
And they start bragging on, oh, well, see, what? I just knew this horse. No, you didn't. You did not know that horse. You got lucky. Just admit it. Just admit it. You got lucky.
Yeah. No, but that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
That's the fun of it.
But Rob, the idea is we're going to go kind of off the cuff,
Yeah.
I think, a little bit, and we're going to handle other topics, stuff that's going on in any realm of what's the word? Life, instead of just sports and horse racing.
Yep.
It's something we're going to try as soon as the playoffs are winding down and the Triple Crown's over, because summer we kind of branch off and do different things anyway.
That's right. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's just a weird headline. So
What's
I just got an alert from ESPN. It says Caleb Williams sought way around going to the Bears in 2024 NFL draft, according to details in his forthcoming book.
Caleb's already writing a book.
That was my first thought. Is like, who is this asshole to think he can write a book already?
What? Well, I would like to know why he paints his fingernails. I think that would be questions. Why do you cry on your mother's shoulder whenever you're 21, 22 years old?
Listen, you made me think of something. And those are great questions, and maybe he'll answer those as well.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm serious. You need to watch this. And I'm on a kick with this guy right now. I'll admit it. So Theo Vaughn, do you know who Theo Vaughn is?
I don't.
He's just you need to, he's hilarious.
Well, what is
but anyway, he's a podcaster. He's a comedian. And
okay. I just want to know he's a podcaster. Good enough.
You're going to love him.
Okay,
he's like a redneck, but he's hilarious. Anyway, he interviewed Lane Kiffin. Okay.
Oh God, I got to see that.
And Theo Vaughn said, I reached out to hundreds of coaches because he's a big sports guy, but he's like, nobody come on. Cause he's a little bit risque. Let's say it right. So, but Lane Kiffin was the only one that would do it.
Because he's a little risque as well.
Lane Kiffin doesn't give a shit. Right?
He does not care.
You need to watch that. It's
I will.
So
Definitely.
good.
I will do that as soon as we get off here.
Seriously, when I quit watching that, I thought, you know what? I think I like Ole Miss now.
I can't go that far, but
no, you're gonna love him. He's so fun.
Well, I know he is very interesting.
You need to watch it. Good when we get done. Theo Vaughn interviews Lane Kiffin. Just put it into YouTube.
I got a good one for you.
Okay.
This is Joplin, Missouri, right here. I got a guy. It's okay. I'm living in this prison camp, apartment complex. Anyway, so he's over here mowing. Okay. He's standing looking at me inside the window, eating a chicken leg. He's just staring at me.
He's actually like looking into your apartment. Wow.
Yeah. And then here comes his buddy. And then they've turned, I guess they're just taking a little break and having a chicken leg and love it. You gotta love it. You gotta love Joplin. Yep. Just gotta love it. Yeah, I'm gonna check. So it's VONN.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll check that out.
I'm telling you, man, you need to listen to all that shit. I don't know. You may not know some of the guests, but it's so funny.
You know, another topic that we haven't touched on, but this could be something next week because no telling what's going to happen. Is our buddy Bill Belichick and his girlfriend?
Yeah, they talked about that on Theo Vaughn this week.
It's captured everybody's imagination or fascination.
Yeah,
and. No, Dr. Tang. I'll text you. Anyway, so why is this such a big deal? That's off to the guy, and I think all of you on the chat they're making fun of him. You wish you were in the same position.
Yeah. I
don't know what he's got. I don't know.
Do you know who Caleb Presley is? Probably not.
No.
So he's another guy that does a very funny show. And so he was on with Theo and they were talking about it. And Caleb Presley's like, now don't get me wrong. I have no idea why she's doing this or why anybody would like any woman like her would want to date like an old man. But he goes, just leave him alone. Who gives a shit? Like, it's like
each their own. I mean,
yeah, it's like, it's not that big a deal, you know? So
hey, I got one for you to go look at.
Okay.
Cliff Cash.
Cliff Cash.
Yeah, check that out this afternoon.
Okay.
You're gonna love him.
Cliff Cash.
Mm-hmm.
See if I've heard of him.
He's
See if I've seen him. Nope. Yeah, I don't know that I know that guy.
Dude, Cliff Cash, The Long Road.
No, I see it. Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty good.
All right. Well, I've got a lot of time this afternoon to listen to that.
Yeah, you do. Maybe about what, 5 o'clock?
Yeah, maybe about 5 o'clock. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get out of here. We'll
All right.
continue that another time.
Dr. Tang, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I'm serious.
You know, I think, I don't know. I can't confirm, but I think Dr. Tang delivered Magic's baby. And
Really?
then he flew out to Louisville and delivered Dr. Miranda's baby. That's what I've heard. That's just a rumor.
Are you just making fun of all? He's not a baby doctor. The number one cancer doctor.
How could you think that was real?
No, because he's such a nice guy.
He's not going to do that.
Well, he might. See, Dr. Tang, I have a much higher opinion of your generosity than he does.
Okay.
Even though I knew the number one self-proclaimed cancer doctor in LA.
No, he has a document.
No,
he has a thing.
I know that.
He may have printed it out himself, but he doesn't have
it. Self-proclaimed.
I don't know for sure.
It's true.
He has a document that says it. Okay, we got to go. I got to get ready for the next one. Okay. We will see you guys next week for more. And stay tuned to the channel here. Jared and I'll be back in 34 minutes. And then Magic Mike. And I'm there again this week with Samich coming up at 3 o'clock Central, 4 Eastern. All right, guys. We'll see you for the next one. Everybody have a good week. And we'll see what happens in the Preakness.